Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for sticking around to hear from the graphite sector. I'm here to talk about today Australian graphite in particular and why Australian graphite should be at the top of your investment priorities. First of all, the great news out today, I guess, which has been some year or two in the making. A big shout out to Austrade, in particular the Australian Embassy, who were at the forefront of getting this achieved. The Critical Minerals Alliance with the United States, $8.5 million was the headline figure, $3 billion to be spent in the next 6 months. I want to draw your attention to the fact that we, back in May, received an award grant consideration from the US Department of Defence for $7.5 million, and we're hoping, once they get back to work, to promulgate the drafting of that particular award. Graphite is critical for defence, so why is all this happening in the geopolitical landscape? On the left-hand side there, you can see that NATO's identified graphite as absolutely the most important element to the defence profile of their needs, and it's one of the 12 critical minerals that have been identified if you basket all of the rare earths into the one commodity. But why is supply so vulnerable? As Sean just mentioned, China dominates the industry. About 73% of mine supply worldwide is produced by China. Another 13% thereabouts from the African continent. And in 2024, 2025, you've seen some challenges in the African continent in particular. Civil unrest in Mozambique leading to mine closure. You've seen Madagascar, a military coup in the past fortnight, and some challenges with mining licence being awarded in Tanzania. So when you back out China and the African continent, you're looking at 9% of global supply comes from what the US might identify as non-foreign entities of concern. So the case is really strong for Australia to play its part in providing graphite supply without some of those particular challenges. So our strategy is to build out a downstream processing capability and support the development of our mine, the Springdale mine in Western Australia. We've established our Collie research and development facilities. Josh Hurst is in the crowd, in the audience tonight. He's the guy that's actually got his hands dirty. He's built the facilities and he's now charged with the responsibility of building our micanising plant, our commercial scale facility in Collie. We've also entered a cooperation agreement with a set of outstanding partners out of Europe to build an expandable graphite plant in Germany, and that's in the design phase at this point in time. And we've also got some facilities under assessment in Savannah, Georgia, to solidify the link between the United States and Australia. And it's all underpinned by the development of our Springdale mine on the south coast of Western Australia. We've had strong government support for our strategy. $17.2 million has been awarded to us by state and federal governments. Both the Premier of Western Australia and the Prime Minister have visited our facility in Collie. And we still have $10.5 million thereabouts of those government grants that are yet to be drawn down. So we've got a strong funding profile in which to continue our development of our businesses. Let me focus on our two near-term production assets if I can. Our strategy to get into the graphite market is to build out these smaller capital cost downstream facilities that feed into a value-add demand. In Collie in Western Australia, stage 1 is a 4,000 tonne per annum facility with a small expansion capability to just under 8,000 tonnes of micanised graphite. It has a capex of US $5 million and we've got $3.5 million of that committed, and over the next 6 months or so we'll raise the balance of that capital. We'll be in production at the start of 2027 on that project. In Germany, we're in the design phase of that project, look to complete feasibility by Q1 of next year, and foreseeably in production by the second half of 2027 on that project. 3,000 or 4,000 tonne per annum capacity servicing a European expandable graphite market. I'll touch on the partners that are involved in that a little later on in this presentation. So our production strategy is quite simple. 2 plants in operation by 2027, producing approximately 10,000 tonne per year of graphite products using proven, established processing technology with great partners with another $5 to $6 million of capital costs required over the next 18 months to fully fund those two assets, and ultimately ready to accept Springdale concentrate. And the Springdale deposit is located on the south coast of Western Australia, a very established mining jurisdiction and agricultural jurisdiction. The Ravensthorpe nickel mine just to the north of us, lithium, the Mount Cattlin lithium mine also just to the north. We're looking at defining a highly competitive capital and operating cost project, and we've been blessed by Mother Nature in many respects that has allowed us to keep those cost structures down. Our scoping study revealed a capital cost estimate of 76 million Aussie dollars for a 500,000 tonne per annum facility. That would produce 46,000 tonne of graphite concentrate at around about a 10% mining head grade. It's proven itself to be very conducive to the battery anode flow sheet. We've upgraded it to 99.95% in test work. And we have an OPEX FOB Fremantle estimate of around about $450 to $485 per tonne of con. Why is our cost structure so competitive? We're blessed by the fact that we don't have any significant infrastructure to build around the mine. We've got an airstrip slightly to the north, servicing Perth. We have abundant accommodation in Hopetown and Ravensthorpe. We have water supply on the mine site. Power requirement is quite modest. And so a lot of the infrastructure costs normally associated with the stranded mining development are just not relevant for this particular deposit. As I said, Mother Nature's blessed us. It's a shallow deposit. The material is in mostly oxidised and weathered rock, so it's a free dig for most of the first 15 years of operation. Lends itself to lower mining costs and a simpler processing circuit. Ultimately, we'll expand our downstream ambitions beyond what we're doing currently in Collie and in Germany, and look to go right to the end of the value chain, which is the production of anode material. And we'll get there incrementally over time. But as you can see, we're committed to aspects of that full flow sheet at this point in time. We've assembled a significantly high-powered group of people and organisations around our company. Invest in expertise, invest in people that have done this before. So our partners in Europe, Arctic Graphite, backed by their major shareholder LNS, they've owned graphite mines, they've financed graphite mines, and they've operated graphite mines. And it's very, very hard to assemble a group of people that have done that before. Our two founders of the company have worked on pretty much every graphite feasibility study in Africa and Australia over the last 15 or so years. They know the landscape for the graphite development companies intimately. They understand resources, they understand the flow sheets, and so our knowledge of the industry more broadly is very, very strong. Invest in people that are getting their hands doing dirty and doing the work. So we've put thousands of hours into development of our upstream and downstream facilities. We've treated concentrates, we've done test work on our own concentrates, we've treated third-party concentrates down at Collie, and that's just leading to the further commitment to expand those facilities. Invest in value. We're a $25 million company. We have $10.5 million of government grants still to be drawn. We've got good partnerships with particular financiers that we think are going to be there for the long haul in our project development. We're all highly leveraged into the success of the company. 16% of the company is owned by directors and immediate management. And we have a number of sources of fund, including the US Department of Defence, potentially over the next 6 months. And invest in delivery, in execution. If we can execute on these plans, we're going to be a significant graphite company in the next 2 to 3 years. So we have a Collie plant in the construction phase at the moment. We'll be through that by this time next year, looking to come into operations early 2027. The expandable project in Germany will follow soon after that in mid-2027. And we have about another 6 to 9 months of work to do on our feasibility study for Springdale. And that can be in a position where it's ready to finance at the back end of next calendar year. And that will then feed into the work that we're doing on our broader downstream processing ambitions. And we have a timeline that's 6 months behind Springdale for that. So we think we've got the skill set and the projects and the enthusiasm to be able to deliver. And I encourage everyone to invest in IG6 and come and visit us at our stand in the foyer. Thank you all for your time.